really depends on the goals. And so when do you want to retire? Do you want to retire next year, or do you want to retire at full retirement age? So that's going to determine how you want to invest these funds. Hey, y'all, really appreciate all that you do for financial education. Drink of choice is a classic daiquiri on the rocks. We love a spitball for our situation. Welcome back to the show. I'm 42. Wife is 41. We have 2 kids. I make $190,000 a year. Wife is a stay-at-home mom. As far as savings, we have $170,000 in the 401k, maxing it out 50% tradish, 50% roth. $38.54 a month. All right. We just inherited $1 million. Currently, the way we broke up the funds is $100,000 is in a brokerage account, BTI, $300,000 is in a 2-year CD, $300,000 is in a 1-year CD, and $300,000 is in a high yield savings account until we figure out what to do. We really just want to have $10,000 to $15,000 a month for retirement. In the meantime, we want to travel and be responsible with the money. Any recommendations on how we divvy up the funds for our retirement goal and what you would recommend to do with the extra $300? Thanks again and keep up the great work. All right, it's 42-41. He makes $190,000 a year. Wife stays at home. So they inherit $1 million. When does he want to retire?
He didn't say that. We don't know what the goals are, but he's fortunate enough to get $1 million and wants to be responsible with it. It sounds like since they just inherited, they perhaps wanted to be somewhat safe. Hence the
$900,000 in cash.
Right? Now here's the thing. I know CDs are paying pretty well compared to how they have been, but they don't, on the long term, they don't pay what the stock market does. I mean, the stock market, if you go back 100 years, it's almost 10%. Now, I'm not saying
Hey,
at
what's
all.
up, Dave Ramsey?
I'm not saying we know what it's going to be in the next year, 5 years, 10 years.
12%.
But here's the point. The point is, if you look at stocks over the long term, they outperform bonds. Bonds outperform cash type investment, CDs, over the long term. So if this is for retirement, you want to have more stocks, right? At less cash, right? If this is for money for travel and buying a home, yeah, you can keep that in cash, but you want to invest the other.
Yeah, I totally get what he's doing here. He's tiptoeing in. It's like, oh, well, let's put 100,000, get that invested, and then the rest we're just gonna, put in some laddered CDs, which is totally fine. You're getting a decent rate of return, so it really depends on the goals. And so, when do you want to retire? Do you want to retire next year, or do you want to retire at full retirement age? So that's going to determine how you want to invest these funds. Do you want to spend more? You make it $200,000 a year, so you make a really healthy income. But do you want to use some of this money to go on trips and travel and do certain things with some of the cash and capital today? So you just got to break that up a little bit to see, all right, well, what are your long-term goals? What are your midterm goals? And what are your short-term goals? And then making sure that you're investing all of your funds appropriately to help you get there. So CD rates are not going to stay at 4 or 5% forever. So as Al was alluding to, is that it probably makes sense to be a little bit more globally diversified if it is, for 5 or 10 years out. If it's for 5 years or less, probably keep it in cash.